Alright everyone, welcome to this new series of videos. I opened up a poll a while ago about what kind of content that you would like to see, and most people wanted to see more content about converting an existing open source project from Three.js to React Fiber. So that's what we're going to do today. And what better project to start with than Bruno Simon's portfolio website, which is actually one of the first projects that got me into 3D web development. And as soon as you click the start button, you'll immediately feel the interactivity and you get some instructions about how to drive around. Not the most difficult instructions. You get some additional set of instructions right here, including honking, the best part of the game. Website, I mean. Yeah, I think most people who already worked with Three.js before must be familiar with this website. If you're not, I definitely recommend you to check it out yourself, bruno-simon.com, and yeah, drive around a bit, see what's capable in this website. Definitely check out the bowling area and try to get a strike there. I failed. That's unfortunate. If you want to follow along, then some basic knowledge about JavaScript and React is required. But knowledge about Three.js and React Fiber is not really required. I do recommend you to check out some of my other videos though, to get some basic knowledge about it before you start this course. I received some feedback that the quality of the microphone was kinda low, so I listened to that and bought a better one. Hopefully you can notice the difference and you can understand me better now. The structure of the videos will be quite different from the videos that I created before, because I received the feedback that the pace is quite high, so I want to allow you to go along this way, and also just to try out a few different video styles. Since I'm still a small YouTube channel, so I should use this opportunity to try it out. So please, if you watch this video, let me know what you think. I would really appreciate that. Okay, one more thing before we dive into the project. I started learning Three.js by following the Three.js Journey course. Bruno created this course himself, and it's a really great course. The best one about Three.js currently available, if you would ask me. So if you want to check that out yourself, then you can drive there and press enter to go to the course, which contains a pretty cool 3D scene as well. And it contains an explanation of all the lessons that are available there. Now I discussed with Bruno if I could offer a discount for this course, and as the generous man that he is, he allowed me to give away 40% discount codes. So if you're interested in following Bruno's Three.js Journey course, then all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment down below, and I will get in touch with 10 randomly picked people. Possibly you, so yeah, make sure to use this opportunity to learn a lot more about Three.js. Alright, let's get started. Let's first quickly go over the existing project and the technologies that are being used there. First of all, the project is open source, so if you go to github.com/brunosimon/folio-2019, you'll get to see the entire project, including the languages which are being used. It uses mainly JavaScript and some GLSL for the shading language as a shading language, and it uses CSS and HTML for the overlay. It also uses Webpack as a bundler. We are going to be using my base code, which uses Vite under the hood and TypeScript for additional type checking. We will keep using GLSL. CSS will be replaced by Tailwind CSS. And of course HTML we will keep as well. Now if we look into the package.json, we'll get to see the dependencies which are being used. So let's go over some of the most important dependencies that Bruno used to create this project, which is Canon, for example, which is used for the 3D physics in the website. We're going to be using React 3 Canon instead, which works well together with React Fiber. Then we have that.gui, which is used for the debug panel. I'll explain more about that later on in another video. We're going to be using Leva instead. Then we have GSAP, which is used for tweening and for animations. We're going to be using React Spring 3 for that different dependency, which also works better with React Tree Fiber. Then we have Howler for the audio, which we're going to use as well, and Three.js, which we are going to replace with React Tree Fiber, of course. Now if we go back and we go to the source folder, then you'll see a few different folders here. Some of the most important ones are the models, which contains all the textures and the 3D models that are being used in a website, which are being saved as GLB files. We have the sounds, which contain all the sounds as MP3 and as WAV files. In the code, we will only import the MP3 files since they are smaller in size, and therefore loading time will decrease. And then we have, of course, the JavaScript, which contains a lot of JavaScript code. We're gonna be using a lot of those files and convert them into TypeScript and React Tree Fiber. So in this video, we're going to copy this project over to our base code project and make it compiling and running in the browser, so we can continue from there on. So let's download this project and go to my project, which I will link to in the description down below. You'll need the base code version 2 code, and let's download that as well. Alright, so now that everything is downloaded, let's extract the 3 developer base code into an empty folder, and we're gonna put Bruno's Folio project inside of that folder so that during development we can reference to the project or copy some of the models, copy some of the textures, and so on. So I'm going to extract this one, and it's going to be inside of this folder. So let me copy the path and extract it there. And actually we can move all the content to that folder. We don't need this additional folder. Okay, there we go. Then the next thing we're gonna do is extract the Folio project as well. And that's gonna be inside of the source folder of the project that we just extracted. So copy over the path, and there we go. So we have our base root folder with the source folder, and in that folder we have the entire project of Bruno Simon. Now let's open that up in Visual Studio Code. Open folder. That's gonna be this folder. And there we go. Alright, so let's get this project to work inside of our project by opening the source folder of Bruno's project, which contains an index.html file and an index.js file. Now this index.js file automatically gets picked up inside of his project because the package.json contains a main file that refers to that one. And inside of that script, there's a new application class instantiated, which contains a reference to a canvas element that contains a JS canvas class. And that one exists inside of the index.html file right here. So let's copy this over to our own project, our own index.html file. And yeah, let's import the index.js right here. So that will be Folio. Okay, let's rename that because it's quite long. Folio source and then the index.js. Remember, we just want to get things to work for now. This might not be the cleanest solution, but we're going to refactor everything on the way. Now let's run the application using the npm run dev command. And there we go. And as you'll see, it's going to throw an error. And this is because certain dependencies that the project depends on are not part of our project yet. So let's include those first. And to do that, we'll have to run the following command inside of the root folder, which is going to install some dependencies that we're going to need. Now that that's done, let's run the application once again and see how that's gonna look. There's still some errors. Seems like it's quite a lot. Don't worry too much, we're gonna solve them. This one is about GLB files which are being imported, but Vite doesn't know what to do with those files, so we'll have to add support for those first. Alright, so to add support we'll have to go to the Vite config file, and there we're gonna add an assets include array, which will contain a reference to all existing GLB files, and therefore all GLB files will be included into the project. Now let's refresh the page, and there's one more console error right here, which is saying that there's an unexpected identifier inside of a GLSL file. Now GLSL is also not supported by default, so let's add support for that as well. And we can do that by running the following command. Let me open an additional terminal, and there we go. We're gonna install the Vite plugin GLSLify, which will add support for GLSL, and we're gonna add it as a dev dependency. Okay, it's added now, and we'll have to add it to the plugins array as well. GLSLify. It's not recognized immediately, so let's import it ourselves. Let's see, from Vite plugin GLSLify. There we go. The page refreshes automatically. Yes, one or two more errors to go. So what's going on here is that we are using a little bit different version of Three.js than Bruno Simon's project, so we'll have to update one file right there, which is inside of his project in the source folder, and then inside of JavaScript world we have an objects.js, and in this file we're importing buffer geometry utils, but instead we should be importing merge buffer geometries. Now this is being used somewhere, and that's right here on line 176. Let's remove this part of the code and save. Refresh. It's already starting to look like something, still not what we want, and that's because certain files cannot be found, such as the Draco encoder or decoder. So let's add that as well. So this decoder was part of the static files of Bruno's project. So let's copy over, well, at least this, but let's just copy over all the static files inside of that folder into our own public folder. We'll have to create that one in the root public folder and copy over everything to there so that that can be found. Now there should be one more error to go, and that's true. We are using RGB format, and that's once again an issue because of a different Three.js version that we are using. And we're gonna have to use RGBA format instead. So let's find the file. That should be in source, JavaScript, world, and then inside of floor.js. Right here, if you search for RGB format, we found it. Let's change that to RGBA format. And we'll also have to add the alpha in this case, because before we only passed the RGB values inside of the data property that's being used in that data texture. Don't worry too much about this right now. I'm going to explain it further once we have everything working. But for now, let's add the alpha values as well to this array by passing an additional value right here for all 4 values. Okay, if I save it, it will auto format. There we go. The alpha will be set to the default 255. If we now refresh, then the application should be working. There we go. It completely works. So there is still an error here. We'll look into that. We'll also look into the warnings that are here, but this is enough for this video. Yeah, we're going to build everything ourselves, including this floor.js. We're going to use code in here, but we're going to convert everything to React Fiber and TypeScript. So don't worry if you didn't understand what just happened here. This first video was just to get everything working inside of our new project, and that succeeded. So congratulations. From now on, we're mostly going to be working with React Fiber stuff. So if you're interested in that and building this this cool project, then definitely don't forget to subscribe, like the video. That will help me a lot, will help the algorithm, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.